Welcome back to Beyond Dafeet. My name's Josh. In today's video I'm going to be looking at a Saucony Ride 13, how it competes with a couple different other shoes, and yeah, which one you should be picking up. Let's jump into it. Looking at the Ride 13 to start with, it's that nice cushion daily trainer, that workhorse you can do a ton of Ks in, and is designed for a neutral foot. So if you heel strike and then stay nice and straight throughout the step, this shoe is going to work quite nicely for you. You got that maximum cushioning all the way through the shoe, so it's nice and light and bouncy but really soft at the same time, so you're going to sink into it well and still get onto your next step quite easily. Overall, you got a nice lockdown wrapping around the upper, nice seamless mesh on the upper, so it's just, yeah, nicely engineered with those 3D overlays to lock you in really well. And then that heel counter lock in, it hugs the foot really snug around the back, so one of the nicer heel counters I've put on my foot, it just really locks you in well. So overall, a really nice dialed shoe by Saucony, and a really durable outsole on it as well. So not going to go too in depth on it because Kez already has done a video. I'll whack a link right up here. Let's compare it to some other shoes. Starting off with the Ride up against the 880, both work great as that daily trainer for a ton of Ks underneath the foot. I'd say durability wise, looking up underneath, we're going to get 800 to 1000 out of both quite easily, even a little bit more than that. In terms of your cushioning systems underneath, both have that nice soft cushioning system that still bounces you back quite well. The New Balance using that fresh foam all the way through, it's that one piece cushioning system that does work really nicely with the foot. Same with the Ride, just using that PWRRUN, it just, yeah, works great with the foot, and you do sink into it a little bit, but it's not too heavy. At the same time, it does give you that nice propulsion. Say in terms of your softness under the foot, in my personal opinion, the Ride does feel a little bit softer initially, especially around that heel and that mid-foot area where you do sink into that cushioning a little bit more than the fresh foam. However, once you do run a few Ks in the 880, the fresh foam does soften up a bit and becomes a little bit more spongy. But in terms of initial softness, the Ride is going to feel a little bit softer under the foot. In terms of your uppers, both lock in the foot quite nicely. I'd say your midfoot and forefoot lockdown on the Ride locks you down a little bit more. However, if you want a little bit more wiggle room in the shoe, the 880 does provide a little bit extra depth, and if you're someone who even has an orthotic and needs a bit more support in a neutral shoe, this guy can take an orthotic a little bit better. Both provide a really good heel lockdown, both have those heel counters that are quite rigid around the back and plenty of cushioning around the collars. So yeah, overall, both great fitting shoes. If you're someone with a wider foot, the 880 does accommodate with a ton of different widths, where the Ride only has a couple different ones. So yeah, keep that in mind. Both really lightweight, comfy daily trainers, and you can't go wrong with either really. Ride 13 up against your Brooks Ghost 13. In terms of each brand's workhorse, they definitely hit the nail on the head with them. Nice and lightweight and soft at the same time, really bouncy, and does give you that propulsion onto your next step. Again, both designed as neutral daily trainers, so to hold the foot nice and straight. And in terms of your durability underneath, I'd say you're going to get a little bit longer out of the Brooks. Just has that little bit extra rubber and the flex grooves in the right areas, just to get you onto that next step. At the same time, increasing the durability with that nice durable rubber underneath the foot, especially in those heel areas. You do have quite a bit there, as well as that forefoot. It's really thick underneath, where the Ride, being a little bit lighter, doesn't have quite as much rubber. But again, about 800 to 1000 out of this, and you're going to easy get 1000 Ks out of the Ghost. So yeah, durability, they're both great. A little bit longer out of the Brooks. Looking at your cushioning of both shoes, again, I think the PWRRUN is a little bit softer underneath the foot. So you got that soft DNA Loft crash pad in the Brooks, and then that slightly firmer cushioning in your forefoot and also on your medial side. But yeah, both shoes in terms of your cushioning systems offer that nice durable ride, especially if you're someone who heel or midfoot strikes. It gets you to your forefoot quite nicely and bounces you off really well. One biggest difference between the two shoes is that we're looking at a 12mm drop in the Ghost, where we're looking at an 8mm drop in the Ride. So if you're someone who wants that heel raised a little bit more, look towards the Ghost. Or if you want that little bit of a lower drop, look towards the Ride. Looking at the uppers on both shoes, both have that really nice dialed in fit, nice padded tongue on both shoes. I'd say the Ghost wraps around that midfoot and that forefoot a little bit more with that little bit of a tighter weave, whereas the heel lockdown in the Ride Personally, I find it wraps around the Achilles a little bit nicer and just locks in that heel really firm. If you're someone who doesn't like a really firm heel counter, look more towards a Ghost. It is a little bit less noticeable, but it is still quite supportive there as well. So I mean, overall, both great shoes, just brand preference in terms of which one you kind of pick up. Slightly more durable in the Ghost, whereas if you want that little bit of a lighter, faster shoe, look towards the Ride. Pairing the Ride 13 up against the Nimbus 22, you got both good daily trainers. Your Ride's going to feel a lot lighter underfoot, where your Nimbus is going to feel a little bit more rigid, especially around the medial side. In terms of the outsoles, durability, you're going to get a little bit longer out of the Nimbus. I'd say you'd be pushing 1,000 Ks in the Nimbus, where your Ride's going to kind of max out around that 800. Durability, they're both good daily trainers. Your flex grooves in your Nimbus are a lot deeper in your forefoot, so you're going to have that more flexible toe off, but having that truss hick in it, it is going to be a lot more rigid in that midfoot area, whereas the Ride's going to feel a little bit more flexible, a little bit lighter and bouncy as a result. In terms of your uppers in both shoes, both offer a really nice dialed in fit wrapping around the foot. I'd say the Ride locks in the heel a little bit nicer, where your Nimbus goes for a little bit more padding around the heel. So if you like that real plush upper, look towards the Nimbus. If you like that little bit more of a streamline upper that hugs the foot a little bit nicer, look towards the Ride. If you're someone who normally runs in a Nimbus or just an Asics in general, the Rides are going to feel a lot softer and a lot lighter underfoot. However, you might feel like you're not getting that stability you are used to, even though this is a neutral shoe. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You got about 3 or 4 elements in the Nimbus, which is going to make it a lot heavier, a lot more glue as a result. It's still a nice daily trainer, that good workhorse. However, if you're wanting something a little bit lighter and faster as a daily trainer, lean towards the Ride. And that'll about do it for the Saucony Ride 13 in comparison to a few other shoes. If you like what we've done here, make sure you smash the like button, hit that subscribe, make sure you follow us on Instagram, and yeah, until next time, we'll see you later.